Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome back to the podcast Will Putney. Will's been busy since we last talked, and will release The Sin of Human Frailty this Friday, October 27th on Closed Casket Activities. Will talks about joining Better Lovers, how lockdown led to him wanting to tour again, the Aggression Sessions split, and creating their most chaotic work to date, and more. We cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time, and I'm grateful Will was able to take some time and chat about the new End record and more. Listen to The Sin of Human Frailty when it drops. It absolutely fucking rules. Did you know we dropped a podcast on Monday this week? If you missed it, it's because you haven't subscribed to the podcast feed yet, so make sure you hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform of choice and never miss an episode. We're on Substack, Discord, and Patreon, and you can find links to all of those in the show notes. Enjoy catching up with Will Putney. You're a busy motherfucker, man.
Yeah, bit of a day. Sorry, right here.
No worries. Yeah, when they said you were doing all the press for this record, I was like, why? He has other things to do.
Yeah, all good.
That's awesome. Well, last time you and I chatted was right before the last Fit album. Since then, End dropped a split. Fit dropped a split. You joined Better Lovers and released an EP, and now you have this End full length. Plus, you're still producing records. I mean, what keeps you motivated and going other than just like a sick passion for this thing that we have?
I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. Isn't that the saying or whatever? Yeah. I mean, I'm just enjoying making music, you know. Yeah. So it's been pretty easy, you know. Obviously, I'm busy. I wish I had more hours in the day, but other than that, you know, it's cool. I'm not really not too stressed out about it at the moment. That's cool. Before we jump into this new End record, I feel like I got to ask you about Better Lovers. How'd you get connected with those guys and involved in that project? I mean, I was producing their previous band for the past 6 years or so. Yeah. So I was very involved from the rip, you know, when they broke up, and they never, Steve and Jordan and Goose never really stopped making music. So and I was still kind of on board to work with them with whatever that was going to be. Yeah. And then, it just kind of evolved into its thing where like Andy wasn't going to be able to do the band because he's wrestling, full time now, which is awesome. It's super stoked for him. But there was like a position to fill, I guess. And once we got Greg in the fold, it was like, all right, I'll do this band. This is pretty cool. Yeah. So love those guys and was very into what they were doing. So it was just like, you know what? Might as well. These are all, musicians I grew up as a huge fan of, and it was a cool opportunity. Yeah. Yeah. You've now worked with Greg and Billy. So, I mean, you're collecting your Dillinger members in band. Yeah. With Liam's in Flames, so we got to get that one going next. Yeah.
How far are you willing to reach? While you're covering outcomes that you cannot achieve. Now you're on a mission, but you won't complete.
With Better Lovers and with End, you're doing a lot more touring than you were previously. What's it been like kind of just hitting the road in more of a full-time capacity than you were previously?
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. I wanted to, I stopped touring, I don't know, like 8 years ago. I hadn't done a ton of touring, but when Fit became really, really full-time, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that and produce records, So we added a band member, and they probably did 9-10 months this year. It's still too crazy for me. It was like after the pandemic, everyone was just locked up for years. I just wanted to go out. I was kind of I have been just nonstop producing records for like since then. So it's basically 10 years straight. I'm not only really getting to travel making records, so still working and stuff. And it just felt like a good time to get out of the house, so now I'm kind of splitting my schedule a little more between doing some touring and producing records, which I think is like good for my brain. I like both sides of it. So it's been fun to be able to do two things.
Yeah. Yeah. Has it been tough trying to adjust that schedule with like working with this other band? I don't know how much, Better Lovers wants to tour, but like trying to work out that schedule. I mean, you guys are just on that massive Ghost Inside Under Oath tour. Yeah,
the schedule's been tough. It's the hardest part, like trying to get everything done, I think is a little harder this year because Better Love's moving a little faster than I think we had thought maybe it would. So it was like we added all these fall dates. Like I just got back from the UK, and then the inception of the band, we had no plans to go over there. I fly out in 2 days to go do West Coast shows. We didn't have any of that planned. There's Christmas shows at the end of the year. Like none of this was like on the schedule. So it's been like this month's been crazy, shifting stuff and trying to get stuff done. Cause I don't want to rush any projects at the studio either, and about like, all right, let me just get it done. It's more about like, well, it still needs to be awesome. So you making sure I have the time to get everything where it's supposed to be, has been like the challenge through the end of the year here. But luckily a lot of the artists I'm working with are patient with me and everything's coming out the way it should. So
earlier this year, you guys were Fit for an Autopsy released the Aggression Sessions. Were those B-sides from the previous albums or new material specifically for that split?
We had that cover, the At the Gates cover that's on there was recorded way back. It was actually back when we did the song Here Tomorrow, which was originally going to be the song that was on the split. But then the pandemic happened. That split was supposed to be like a 2020 release.
Oh, wow.
Coming out like this year, we had, we put that song out during COVID to just have new music because people were at home and stuff. And then we re-recorded the other original for the split on the last album session because it was like we needed to get a record done first at that point because COVID ended and it was time to tour again, and the band wanted to put a record out first before we do another split or anything.
Let's talk about End. I don't think when you were on, we talked about this. How did end up with Closed Casket?
Justin's just a really good friend. We worked together on a lot of records, and I got to see a little more of the inside of how he operates and runs a label, and grew to really like his workflow and organization. And he's just a good guy who's really, really good at putting out records. So after we did the first EP, I just kind of just pitched it to him like, hey, would you ever do this? Because I knew he kind of liked the band too, and he was way into it. So that's kind of how it started.
Nice. How'd the split with Cult Leader come together? Because like that's just like 4 songs to like punch you in the face. We really like Cult Leader, and I wanted to do some. I've been over the past few years trying to kind of line up and with just artists that we're fans of and we really like, and come, the background of a lot of people in End doesn't really exist
in the space of like the extreme hardcore stuff that we wanted to. So we're like, we should just talk to artists that we like and see if they'll do stuff with us. And, you know, everybody in the fan's like a huge Cult Leader fan. So those guys are really cool. And I just hit them up. I was like, hey, would you want to do this? And they're like, yeah, be awesome. So that was literally how it started.
That's cool. It's cool to me that like the split EP or split 7-inch remains like a thing in music when it's like so much of music consumption is digital, that bands are still like, let's put something out together.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I mean, it's always like people are always interested when it's two artists that they like coming together to do anything, you know. I wish the split could have been more collaborative, but that was again over like the pandemic thing.
Yeah.
I really like the splits where the bands sort of get in a room together and do things. But the either way, I mean, it's still just awesome. And then you get to like see how other people work and what they, you know, kind of having more creative minds on, you know, whether it's like a packaging or what we should do. I just like working with other people who I respect as artists. So
yeah. Well, this is your third release. This is your third drummer. What happened where Billy tapped out? And I know you worked with Matt at Graphic Nature. How'd you choose him to take over on drums?
Yeah, Billy really just like Billy needs like a full-time drum gig, you know, and is very like part-time and also very hard. And it was more like, hey, you should just go do a band professionally for a living because that's like what he's born to do. He's an awesome drummer. And you know, our schedules are tough, and the way it was working with him, there was like not going to be probably the availability we needed to get some things done. So, I mean, it's all good. We had already done a ton of shows with Matt, who was kind of filling in when Billy had to go play festivals or to go on this tour or whatever. So it was like becoming looking ahead. We're like, it will be difficult to get, you know, our next cycle of touring and everything done. And like, I think where he was at in life, doing a band like End and all the prep and work that's involved, it kind of just like wasn't the best fit for him at the time, you know? Matt already knew like all the material that we were playing live, and he, you know, he's based around here. He's also a record producer. It was just like a really natural, obvious, like, well, you'll do it, right?
That's cool. New album's called The Sin of Human Frailty. When did the writing process begin for this record?
We wrote it in September of last year, September or October. Me and Greg are the main like songwriters for the band. And he just came over to my studio for like a month, and we just knocked it out. You know, we just worked on it obsessively and went crazy. And most of it was written here. Usually like he'll show up with a song or two, and I'll show up with a song or two, and then we'll each have some independent ones that we kind of finished on our own because one of us has like a cool idea, and then the rest we'll just put together, you know, together or work on each other's songs, you know. But this time, we did a lot of it just, you know, sitting together. We're trying to write like a song a day. We have a ton of material, which is cool because there's a lot of extra stuff from the record that we didn't put on the record, not because it's not good, just because we just had lots of stuff. So I'm looking forward to having some more of that stuff see the light of day from those sessions.
That's cool. That's cool. Were there things you wanted to accomplish differently? Because it's tough to say like, this is the craziest End record, but this is definitely a more mathy, chaotic version of the band, I think.
This is the craziest End record for sure. Yeah, we definitely lost our minds. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. We just were gravitating towards being more insane on this one. I don't know why we got that bug, but it just felt like, I don't know, heavy music tends to get stale for me sometimes. And, you know, a lot of our influences and sort of the chaos and some of the 90s hardcore stuff, like, I feel like some of that's just missing in the genre, and we're trying to find our place where we kind of have our own sound and stuff. And it was like, let's kind of incorporate some of these elements into our sound, you know, a little more forward than we had in the past, and try to figure out our way to do it, you know, where we have our own identity. So we were like pretty set on like being off the rails on this record. You know, I think it was like a big part of what me and Greg had been listening to and where we were seeing the vision for the band, it was like we kind of wanted to just be nuts. Like that was the whole purpose of the band, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting to like listen to these various projects. I imagine you're not doing a lot of writing with Better Lovers, or not like the main songwriter, but like Fit is going in this heavy melodic route, and the end is just like super fucking crazy all the time. It's like, you know, these different hats you're wearing as a songwriter and performer.
Yeah. I mean, with Fit, you know, we'll probably, I've like one thing that I'm very stoked on with Fit is we can take our music in a few different places now, you know, and I'd imagine, you know, going into the next record, we'll probably do a good amount of everything, you know, and it's starting to feel like that too. And so is Better Lovers, you know, the stuff that we've written as a band, you know, since I joined Better Lovers, we've done a lot of writing together, and the stuff is really cool and very diverse, you know? So it's like, I don't know. I think a big part of being, you know, wanting to play music and being in bands with cool musicians is like the ability to be more flexible and not just be pigeonholed into one sound, and kind of be more creative in that sense, where it's like, cool, we can go a little out of the box with whatever it is we're trying to do, and know that I have like dudes there that will help me get there too is very cool.
Yeah. The Sin of Human Frailty, where'd the title come from?
We pulled it from a lyric in one of the songs, which is also the title track. It was just felt like it kind of summed up, you know, a lot of the lyrical content that Brendan wrote on the record. And we were back and forth on a few, but that one it was like the one where everyone unanimously was like, yeah, that kind of checks that box for us.
Nice. Yeah, I just saw Counterparts the other day, and yeah, Brendan is still angry as ever.
Good. Yelling at the crowd. Yeah,
he was. How'd you guys connect with Alex to do the artwork?
I've just been a fan of his stuff for a long time. I was looking for an artist for this album that doesn't really just do album covers. This has become like a theme for us, where we would have some kind of art, and then I'd see, you know, lots of. I didn't want similar artwork to other artists, you know, on this record. So I was trying to find a unique way to do some packaging and somebody who could pull off something that was like a little more in its own space, you know. And Alex is really good at these like 3-dimensional die cut style compositions. So I just hit him up to see if he like would even do an album layout, and it turns out he's like actually a fan of the band, like would love to do it, you know. So it was cool because he was looking to do artwork for a band, and we were looking for an artist that hadn't done artwork for a band yet, you know. So it timed out really cool, and the packaging is insane. It's like this multi-layered die cut thing. He's so cool at creating like dimension with the different spaces and stuff, and yeah, it was cool. Just perfect scenario for us.
That's cool. Did you give him an idea, or was it just like, here's the title, here are lyrical themes on the album?
Yeah, we gave him some like general stuff we were trying to do. And it was more like, you know, I had like a concept, and it was like, can you do a version of this that makes sense with your style? You know, I try not to micromanage anybody we work with on the artistic side, because it's sort of, they know what they're doing better than me, you know. But yeah, I mean, we had the general themes kind of in place.
And is going on tour end of October. You guys are down here in Maryland. Same day album comes out.
Nice.
You're touring with Better Lovers. I mean, like, the question is not what does the rest of the year look like, but when do you have time to rest, man?
I don't know. I sleep a lot on tour, which is cool. Sleep more on tour than at home, probably. So that kind of feels like rest, but yeah, it's just been busy, and it's going to be busy next year too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Sleep when you're dead. I don't know.
Yeah. Is it tour like not like a little bit of a break, but it's like it's a little less go because there's work, but it's a different kind of work?
Yeah, there's a lot of like hurry up and wait scenarios with tour, but because I've been in the studio for so long, going on tour is fun. It feels like vacation. You know, it doesn't suck for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
You know, I appreciate the people who follow the band, and I know we're looking to do more than we have as our part-time band. Just be patient with us and our schedules, and we'll try to get everywhere as soon as possible.
Yeah. You got a lot of people who are all working on different things all the time and have other jobs and things going on.
Scheduling's crazy. The calendars suck, man. But you know, we're all really stoked on the record, and I know at some point we'll try to figure out a way to get everywhere with it.
Thanks for listening to As the Story Grows. Our intro music was written and composed by Jeremy Hunt. The As the Story Grows theme is by Bob Nana. If you like what you hear, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a rating and review. If you'd like to support the show financially, you can join us at patreon.com/asthestorygrows. Be a part of our community and join the ongoing conversation over on Discord. If you enjoy this episode, share it on social media with your friends. Much appreciated, and thanks for listening.
I never felt so young and alive as when I'm diving into a tune. And now I'm learning as I listen along, and the wheels are turning, and I started a song. One good word and I'm gone. Oh, as the story grows, the more I want to know, the more I want to show you. As the story grows, as the story grows. You can create something lasting and great, something passionate and real. And I'll bring in my own good feelings, I'll sing it with meaning. Let's just attack it and never look back. It's wild and fantastic. All together at full power, we're so much better. What's that word?